Boo. Did I scare you? I'm cute spooky, and this is what I look like today. It's spooky month, and I'm here with mini reviews of 5 short and spooky games I've played recently. Let's start with a game that I didn't like that much. Keep in Mind is a brief narrative adventure game with little gameplay. It's a walking sim where you play as a man named Jonas who is struggling with alcoholism, depression, and grief. The entire game consists of talking to his inner demons and piecing together how he got himself into the position he's in. I enjoyed the creepy atmosphere, but the dialogue and narrative were surface level. It was too big of a topic to cram into 14 minutes, so everything was oversimplified and unrealistic. The message the game leaves you with is supposed to be therapeutic for people struggling with similar issues, according to the game's Steam page. However, people in a similar position aren't going to resonate with it, and the reviews reflect that. I know the game's only $2, but 14 minutes of someone mishandling complex subject matter is not worth that. It should be free, and even then, I don't think it's worth your time. The Wanderer, Frankenstein's Creature is another narrative walking sim. You play through the myth of Frankenstein as the creature, and your choices determine how the story ends. It's a tragic story, so don't expect any happy endings. It's an artsy game where you feel like you're walking inside a watercolor painting, and the soundtrack accompanying it is dramatic and emotional. There's a nice juxtaposition of happy, euphoric moments and horrific, nightmarish scenes. There's also a beautiful scene where the season transitions to fall, so if you're gonna play this game, this is the time of year to do it. My playthrough took me almost 2 hours, but there are alternative endings I could chase after. Normally I would, but I didn't enjoy it enough to want to replay the game several more times to see all of them. I'd rather save time and look them up on YouTube. I didn't like that you had to move around with the mouse. It felt slow and clunky most of the time, and that's the major thing keeping me from wanting to play again. There were mini games and light puzzles sprinkled throughout the game, but there's not much else to the gameplay. The game focuses on the linear story and keeps track of the choices you make to determine the ending you get. Speaking of choices, there was a part towards the end where I went to make a dialogue choice, and the creature said, "Nah, I'm not doing that." I hate when games give you fake options. If you don't want me to choose it, why put it in the game? It's frustrating. Grimm's Hollow is a free short RPG adventure where you search the afterlife for your brother while reaping ghosts and eating cute snacks. There are 3 haunted caves to explore and 4 different endings to see. I love the art style and color palette for this game. The characters were fun to get to know as well. The story and lore were so interesting. It's one of those games where I wasn't ready to leave when it ended. I hope the developer makes more games. I left the other 3 endings unseen, so I have reason to return to it again. The combat was a little clunky, but the difficulty was easy, so it didn't matter much. There wasn't much reason to pick up any particular ability on the skill tree, except the only multi-attack in the game. Boosting all your base stats makes you OP. This is a big recommend at the low price of free. There's also a fan pack available on Steam, which includes an art book and wallpapers. It doesn't include the soundtrack, but you can snag that over on Bandcamp as a Name Your Price album. Papetura is a handcrafted puzzle adventure game with a world handmade entirely out of paper. Even though the game only took me 75 minutes to play, I can't imagine the time it took to craft everything. So, while $12 is a lot to ask for a little over an hour of playtime, I also look at it as buying an interactive art project and supporting the hard work that went into that. The atmosphere was perfect. You play as 2 paper creatures working against a beast threatening to burn your world down. The soundtrack does a great job of making you feel just how terrifying that would be. Though the narrative is short, it's well put together, emotional, and satisfying. The puzzles in the game aren't always straightforward, but there's a hint system minigame you can access anytime you get stuck. I like the inclusion of this because it keeps you immersed instead of having to leave to go look up a solution. The developer has a new game called Pyrofauna, which looks super cute, and I've already added it to my wish list. It's early in development, and will also be made out of paper, so it'll be a while before it's ready. Rental is a creepy adventure game where you play as a cute rabbit trapped in a summer cabin. You explore and find objects to perform a ritual to escape. It's a quick game where you spend most of your time in a particular room, which I didn't enjoy. I liked exploring the house while some creepy ghost thing haunted me. That threat completely disappears once you enter that one room. Overall, it was a fun, free, bite-sized horror game. There's a speedrun achievement for beating it in under 10 minutes, which does give it some replayability. I'm okay with never stepping foot in that one room again. Those were 5 short creepy games I've played lately. Have you guys played any of these? Out of all of them, I think Grimm's Hollow is the best free one, and Papetura is the best paid one. If you guys know of any more short spooky games, let me know. My next video will likely be my first impressions of Metaphor, but there is a chance that it'll be a review of Little Nightmares. It depends on how fast I can finish it since Metaphor releases on the 11th. With that out of the way, I hope you're living today in a way you won't regret, and I'll see you in the next one. Pook out.